this is Maurizio from Kataklysm, and you're listening to the Dan Chan Show on Hard Rock Hell Radio.
Hey Maurizio, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. Very well, very well. How's everything going in Florida?
Well, you know, we were having some issues here not too long ago that were pretty heavy with this COVID thing, but like it looks like it's getting a little bit better now, like it's in better control. It seems to always do these type of waves or something. So who knows? You know, we're hanging in there.
Yeah, same everywhere, I think. So you guys are releasing your 14th studio album, Unconquered, on September the 25th. And you just released a single, Kill Shot. What's the meaning behind the track Kill Shot? And do you write with themes in mind? By the way, the video is awesome.
Thank you. Well, you know, Kataklysm has always been about, it's always been realistic in its theme. It's about social, you know, unrest or social issues that everybody goes through, you know, like, so basically it's type of something that we've always been in touch with what's going on, but it's more personal. You know, it's more about things that are happening at the moment, and but not like in a political way. We do stuff that's more, you know, in line with everyday life. So basically, you know, we the song is about something that happens to somebody, and obviously it's easy to find out what it is, and then that's happening a lot in society, and the person takes its time and plots its revenge. It's very Machiavellian in its nature.
I was waiting for the kill shot at the end, and we did get it. No spoilers there. No spoilers.
Right.
So, having heard the album, I can see why I read in the press release that is a weightier and modernized sound. Do you stand by that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's difficult with Kataklysm. It's a band that's been around for, you know, going on 30 years soon. It's you know, we started this in our high school and got a record deal right off the bat. So we've been doing it nonstop since. So it's hard to reinvent yourself without pissing off your fan base, you know, and it's a double-edged sword, and then some people complain you don't change enough. And so what we did on this record is that we stayed true to our roots, like we've always have, as far as the concentration of the music is concerned. But we've upgraded the sound dramatically, I think, from the previous albums, and that's really because we did a few different things. Like we upgraded from a 6 to a 7 string. 4 to 5 string on bass, and we also were lucky enough to have an amazing producer like Colin Richardson on this record. So it's all these elements that have made things differently for us on this album, but it was necessary. This is our 14th record. Times are changing. It's time for us to kind of stay up to date also with our sound and everything. So it was a decision that we were ready to do. It wasn't something like we have to do, you know.
Well, that was one thing I was going to touch on, actually. Tell me about how you managed to get legendary producer Colin Richardson out of retirement.
Well, you know, his assistant, which is Chris Clancy, dude that was in Mutiny Within, excellent writer and also producer, and my guitar player was friends with him, and they were in touch, and then we discussed that we were doing this record, and we were able to get a couple of demo tracks over to him, and he played it for Colin Richardson, and he was all about it. He said, "This is a great record. I want to do it." So he was doing indie rock over there, like some metal bands, but like really underground stuff. Like I think he was just doing it for fun, you know. And then heard the record, and he was like, "I want to produce this one." And then he came out, so we were very honored about it, and the rest is history, you know.
I say that's a really good compliment on your side, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
And I believe was Andy Sneap involved in it as well.
Well, it's his studio, right? They recorded at his backstage studio, so they recorded there, and he was in and out of the studio. So basically, he was there, you know. So
So did the recording process differ much from previous albums, having sort of like people like Colin involved?
Well, obviously the record was written before we got him involved, and because we had already the pre-productions done and everything, we knew already where the direction we were taking. I kind of spearheaded the writing on this record with my production, with the writing with my guitar player, and then that was pretty much it. You know, like we just worked really hard on the whole thing, and I was very aggressive coming into this record. So I was very, I had this thing in me that was driving me to write a really crazy record as far as like this intensity that's behind it. It just one day I just woke up and I said, this is the type of record we need to do right now. And that's how I feel. And I had my guitar player fly out to Chicago because I was living in Chicago right before this pandemic hit. And he came up to the studio. We just wrote the record and it was just came out like water, like right away. It was just flowed easily. Sometimes you get those moments, that you got to capitalize on, and we did that with this record.
And it feels like it is the feeling of the world right now as well. From listening to the album, it's got that real current. It's so relevant right now.
Yes, and that's the thing. I was feeling like that last year, so it's kind of like
you're a fortune teller.
Right, and then the record was done in December. I mean, we had the record finished. I remember actually I was in London listening to the demo tracks, not the demo tracks, sorry, the final mixes, and approving them on the spot there. And the record was called Unconquered already, so all this stuff kind of made sense with the album dropping. You know what I mean? Like this year, so. The record label wanted to push the record to next year, to 2021 at some point. They felt the record was strong and we shouldn't gamble it, but we felt it was the time to release it now. I actually find it really unmetal of bands pushing it to 21 or 22 just to be safe for a few more record sales. I thought that's not the way this industry works. At least for me, it's not. And it's a therapy, right now to have music. And I feel like it was the right move for us to release it now. So, so basically the title was right. The music is right for the times. There's no reason to push it when everything's going to be nice and rosy,
Exactly. It was too right.
It was the time now to do it. So.
And you have a friend of the show, Thomas from Wolfheart, on the track, Cut Me Down. How did that collaboration happen?
I have a company called Heart Impact, and it's a management company that I have, and I have a bunch of artists on there, like Flesh God Apocalypse, Septic Flesh, and Wolfheart's one of them. And I've been friends with him for a while, and I thought he was the guy that had what it took as far as like the vocal patterns that I needed for the track, and I invited him on the record. And the song he's on is very Swedish influence too, like very Scandinavian. So it made sense to have him on,
Yeah, it's awesome. And with the artwork, the infamous Heartbeast is back. Who decided on that?
We had some back and forths with the record label, and they always loved the Beast and all that. And I thought we don't like to repeat ourselves too much, but they brought a point to the table that the band's going on 30 years. We felt it was the right time to release something like this right now, and to bring back the idea of Kataklysm in that moment, because that the Heartbeast's been like, that's kind of been our mascot for about 10 years. He was on 3 records in the past, and then we retired him and try to do different things because, like I said, I don't like to be on the same thing forever. And now I think it's appropriate. It's 30th anniversary. The Inner Beast is coming out again at Kataklysm. It's a reinvention time for the band, and I felt he came back, but this time in a more realistic way. It's like redone, like almost 3D. I wanted him to be looking real, not like a cartoon.
Yeah.
So we achieved that, and we were lucky to get also Blake Armstrong to do the artwork.
Yeah.
Which is the producer behind the cover artist behind the In Flames record that came out not too long ago as well. So he has the touch, does DC Comics, and I think he got right away what we wanted to do. And then I remember when we got the thing, he was looking so cool that I was like, I don't want any background.
No, that's right.
Just to go clean, and we're going to do this like modern type of artwork. I don't want to have any background. He's too cool just to be himself, because at the beginning we were going to put like some crazy stuff behind him. But I was just like, this is it, just the way it is, and that's what we did.
So you brought Colin and the Heartbeast back out of retirement.
Yes.
So, I mean, do you have any tour plans? Did you have any plans for 21 or 20? Obviously, with your 30th anniversary coming up, are the band planning on anything special?
Look, we had a bunch of plans. We this year was like already a really busy year for us with a lot of open airs, and we had like some big festival tours that we were going to do, and we had a lot of the stuff lined up. Everything got thrown into chaos, and now we're just kind of rebooking everything for next year, like many bands are doing. Is it going to happen? Who knows? We're just trekking along right now to see what's going to happen. But I know that we're not into doing any drive-throughs or the live stream concert.
No.
Not for now. If something happens in the future where we're stuck like this and fans really want something like that, we might do it. But it's not in our cards. Like we prefer to wait it out and go back to the way we always knew how to do it. With the fans in the club.
I think that's the right thing to do.
So we're just waiting around right now, and we do have a lot of plans. We do have a lot of stuff. Europe's not in the cards, though. Like we're not. We're just doing some open airs next summer in Europe. We're planning Europe probably in 2022, the earliest.
Great. Look forward to that. And you guys like film quotes in songs, right? You do that quite a lot. Which one's your favourite? I mean, I love the Sunshine and Rainbows Balboa speech. Which one's your favourite?
That we've done, I really like the one on the Waiting for the End to Come from Denzel Washington when he's in that movie, blank memory now.
Yeah.
The one where he's a blind preacher. That's the one in Waiting for the End to Come in the beginning, when he preaches the biblical parts and then he kills everybody. I thought that was awesome. So
it's a great way of it's a great way of lining up a song, in it, when you put like that kind of quote.
Yeah, the Book of Eli. The Book of
Eli. That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
The quote was taken from that movie. Yeah, I'm a big movie guy. I don't read. I love books, but I find myself never finishing them. Right? I start them, 3/4 in or half in or 1/4 in. It's not because they're not interesting. They actually are. It's just that I get kind of lost in it, and I'm not visual and an audiobook guy. I like to do my training and listening to getting educated that way.
Yeah, I like that as well.
So movies are a big part of. When I get a movie, because they're short, right? They're like 2 hours. You get to the point.
Yeah, that's it.
To the point, guy. So yeah.
I'm terribly impatient with books. So I have to ask, how did the transition from bass to vocals happen back in 1998 for you? Was it a natural progression for you, or was it jump or push?
Not at all. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
It's like they're two different beasts, and at the beginning I wasn't sure if I was going to play bass and sing at the same time. I just thought that didn't look good for the band, because before that we would just had a single vocalist that was just a vocalist, and the band people were already kind of used to that idea about Kataklysm. So I kind of ditched the bass to do that, but I felt naked in the beginning. Like, you're not holding an instrument. Yeah. It's kind of like weird.
Nothing to hide behind.
Exactly. And then, unless, by then I realized you can hide behind your hair when you're saying it. Yeah. Your hair. But the idea was always about the situation with that, and it took me years to get decent at it. I thought in the beginning I was very, average at singing and understanding what's going on. Although some of the records I did in the earlier part of my tenure as a singer did well. Like there was some, I would say, hits or whatever that we did that people really liked, from the early records. But I think that I got better at it with time, and now that it's been 20 years since this has been going on, or more, 25 years I've been singing. It's more the last 10 years that I find that I've really achieved what I wanted, especially in the last couple of records, because when you're in death metal, you're wanting to be the more extreme singer. You wanted to compete with the other guys that are more guttural and all this stuff. But I never that was never my force, that was never my strength as far as a vocalist. I'm a mid-range type of vocalist, and I embraced that in the last couple of records where I'm just let's put it this way. I'm closer to a dude like the guy from At the Gates than I am than, a dude like Suffocation, for example, Frank Mullen. I'm going to be more going that route of a mid-range guy where you can understand the lyrics and what I'm doing, So I prefer it, and I'm getting my niche in there now. I feel comfortable in my role. Absolutely. But it took me a long fucking time.
So what was it? What was the first show like when you got behind the mic? Must have been nerve-wracking.
It's truth. The first show I've ever did with Kataklysm behind the mic was on the stage. We were opening for Morbid Angel.
Wow.
It was off the record Victims of This Fallen World. And it was the black sheep of our records, the one that a lot of people dissed the band, because we went from being extreme, as crazy as in advance in our time where we were experimenting with grooves and all this stuff. I had bottles thrown at me, I remember. A lot of our fans were pulling fingers. They hated me. They were you're ruining the band. And it's I commend the part of us at that time being so bullheaded that we just kept going.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
And Europe embraced us. As soon as we finished that show, we were like, we're done. Obviously, people don't like what we're doing now. And but we had a European tour booked, and we decided, well, at least let's just do this tour, see what happens. And the tour went great. Awesome. And then that's when we realized, well, there is people that are going to like this. Let's take this and modify it and get better at it. And that's what we did.
So talking of Europe, I've got to ask you while I've got you on the line, I want to talk about XDO, your other band, XDO. It's heavily surrounded by history, as I know it's got a very heavy Rome theme. Is this a way of connecting with your Italian heritage?
Pretty much, yes. I'm very proud of the Italian heritage and where it comes from and everything. I'm a big history guy. I really like the history, not because of just what happened, and it's kind of enchanting when you think about all that crazy stuff that happened, but it's also because it relates a lot to today, So I kind of put both worlds today, and what they say, you always learn from the past and moving forward. So I'm really into that part. I thought when I had the idea was like, there's no bands doing anything that has to do with Rome, and it's like the most brutal, like empire that walked the earth, dominating and all that. And you have upside down crosses were invented by the Romans. So I was like, we gotta do this. And so basically, I started with that. And the only thing I regret about it that right now is that I didn't put more time into it, because it kind of came out and it had like huge potential, and I just was so busy with Kataklysm and other things that I never really pushed it the right way, which I'm thinking about doing right now and changing that direction and starting to put more emphasis on XDO, which we are actually in the middle of writing a record right now.
Oh, that's cool. Good.
Yeah, so we're almost done with the new album, which I think will come out probably spring next year. So
my favorite cuisine is Italian. What's your favorite Italian dish?
Oh man,
the last Italian dish you'll ever have to eat. I just want the best one.
Well, there's too many. That's the problem.
I know.
There's so many, but I like zuppa di pesce. It's called, which is like a big bowl of like seafood, and it has tomatoes, and it's like a soup, but it's not a soup. You eat it with bread. Nice. And it's got like all the seafood you can imagine. So I like that because it's something that reminds me of my father. He used to make that all the time. Nice. But I really like that stuff. And obviously, I love pizza. Who doesn't?
Yeah,
the Neapolitan style, the one from Italy, not the one you eat at Pizza Hut.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm big on that stuff. I love it all.
Cheese and carbs, can't beat it. So the last thing I'm going to ask you, I always ask people been in the game a long time. With 30 years behind you, tell me a funny tour story.
A funny tour story. Wow.
Anything you like.
Okay, well, I'm gonna I thought it was funny because my guitar player doesn't think it's funny, but I thought it was.
They're the best ones.
Because I remember, I don't know where it was in Europe, if it was in Europe or it was an open air festival, but we were on stage. Everybody was doing the horns, and we were playing. And then it smelled like shit on stage. And, I didn't know what the fuck happened, and my guitar player I sharted in my pants, dude. And I was singing. I was about to talk to the crowd, and I just exploded laughing in the mic, and nobody knew why. My bass player was like, shit on stage, and it was like went right through my mic when he said that, and into the crowd. And I just remember him turning super white, and it wasn't nothing coming down the leg or anything, but something happened there, and it was the last two songs, so he saved his ass, let's put it that way, on the last couple of tracks. But I'll never forget that moment, because talk about being put off, and it's like 800 kids in the place. It's like,
oh God, classic.
But I don't think people really got it, but we got it, and we laughed about it for months after that. But yeah.
That's great. Well,
so you want a funny story? I thought that was
that's good.
Funny.
I like it. That's perfect. Perfect way to end it. Maurizio, thank you. Good luck with the album release, and I hope to see you on the road, well, in the next year or two.
Yes, let's see how it goes, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for giving us some support here. Appreciate it.